Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, channel 182 Charter, as well as syndicated on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And also, don't forget the radio, icradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates and where we actually have this guy every Football Friday at 4. AP Steadham, thank you so much for being with us. AP and also AP and Kelly, as we see it, talk show, again, which is hosted right here on our station. Did you have a good weekend? It was I have no fingernails left.
I did, Donnie. I was up at Oxford, Mississippi, where Mississippi, ranked 5th, was taking on an unranked Kentucky team. And Lane Kiffin has assembled a roster that is a championship contender, but they were upset by the Wildcats from the north. They came down from Lexington, and they had a good game plan. They ran the football, some short passing, kept Ole Miss's powerful offense on the sideline. I think they controlled it nearly 40 minutes, completed enough passes, and especially in the fourth quarter, that long pass down the sideline, and then they scored the go-ahead touchdown, make it 20-17. The running back, the quarterback, second-string quarterback, they used him in the Wildcat situation, snapping the ball directly to him. He was trying to get a touchdown. The ball was fumbled. The tight end recovered it in the end zone for Kentucky. And it was right in the Kentucky section down in that corner, that southeast corner. So the fans went wild. The band was playing. They went ahead. Ole Miss drove that down the field. They had a long pass on a third or fourth down to complete it, put them in field goal range. They missed a long kick. I think it was 48 yards. It was wide left. And so the Ole Miss fans were left very disappointed. It was early in the day, so they had all day to think about that loss to an unranked Kentucky team who took Georgia right to the wire with a 13-12 game a few weeks before. So Ole Miss, they have to regroup. They have a talented team. But Kentucky, with an excellent win from Mark Stoops and his staff, Brock Vandegrift, the Georgia transfer, had an excellent game. He's a very good passer, Donna. Very good passer. Pinpoint passer. Dane Key had some big receptions. Barry and Brown made that catch down the sideline, long catch down the sideline, 60-plus yards. And they ran the ball efficiently and effectively. And defensively, Donna, we saw them hold Georgia at 13 points. Mm-hmm. And here they are holding Ole Miss at home. Powerful offense, 40, 50 points a game to 17. Magnificent on that side of the football. They played complimentary football. Mark Stoops had one of his biggest victories in the history since he's been the coach at Kentucky.
What does that do to the rankings for both teams?
Yeah, drop Mississippi down anywhere from, 10 to 11, 12, something like that. And we'll see if Kentucky could jump in there. They got some games coming up. Maybe that'll help them get into that top 25. But yeah, that was a big loss for Ole Miss because they did not count on losing a home game to Kentucky, a team that was struggling mightily. They lost to South Carolina 31-6, and then they couldn't beat Georgia at home. Lost that 1-point victory, which is a valiant effort, but it still ranks as an L in that column. So Ole Miss, I think Lane Kiffin, as we always said, he beats many of the teams he should, but he didn't beat this team. And now there's a question mark with Lane Kiffin. He rallied his team to continue because they have to play Georgia yet as well. That's a home game for them. So they have quite a few tough ball games coming up. So I don't know, Don, what's going to happen with them.
What does Coach Lane Kiffin have to do to regroup for the next game?
Well, they were 1 for 10, Donna, on third down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very difficult to win. 1 for 10 on third downs, and they barely almost tied the game up, 2020. But 1 for 10, they'll have to improve on that third down. I think the defense probably has to play just a little bit better, but offensively, that's his forte, offense. And they were 1 for 10 on third down. That's not going to be good enough moving forward.
There were a lot of nail-biter ball games this weekend, and one of those was the Alabama-Georgia. And you got a lot of folks who want to hear what you've got to say about that game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Alabama, Georgia, Donna. I think we spoke about this last week. We thought that Alabama playing home would have a slight edge because Georgia was missing some players on the defensive front and Alabama maybe to run the football. But Alabama, Donna, they ended up passing for 374 yards. But Donna, they ran for 173 yards against Georgia. That doesn't happen too much against Kirby Smart's team. So they had excellent balance. Now they got ahead of them 30-7, and all was lost. People thought with the Bulldogs by halftime, but Georgia, they came barking back down a strong, and also went ahead in the ball game. Okay, went ahead in the ball game, 34-33. Alabama came back with the pass to Ryan Williams, and we said that Ryan Williams, Donna, he is the difference maker for Alabama. Granted, Jalen Milroe is the passer and the excellent runner, one of the best running. He can be a running back on anybody's team, but Donna, when you don't have the personnel on the outside to have the yards after the catch, then you're driving the field. And that's an opportunity for you to make more mistakes. When you could throw the ball to somebody and they run 70 yards for a touchdown, one play, no mistakes. You don't have that 8 or 9 plays to make mistakes. In Alabama, Donna, 10 penalties in the game. So that's relevant. When you have somebody, a playmaker who could take it the distance from 70, 80, 50, 60, 70, 80 yards, no penalties are involved on that one play. So that's important for Alabama. But salute to you.
You predicted there would be a lot of penalties.
Yeah, I thought, Georgia's not usually with a penalty, but Alabama, for some reason, Donna, these last few years, they have some double-digit games with penalties, 10 or more. So it's baffling because I know they practice. They have the officials in practice to keep everybody on the right page, not going off sides, any other violations. But Alabama, that's still something that they have to improve, Donna, because in a big ball game, penalties can cost you. It didn't cost them in this game, and they ended up winning in dramatic fashion. So, but it was quite a ball game, Donna. You weren't sure what was going to happen after halftime, Donna, because Georgia was behind by so much, and that's rare. That's rare in the Kirby Smart era. Maybe that's the biggest
one of the biggest comebacks ever, though.
Yes.
Going into the second quarter. Let's talk about the first quarter. So, what in the world happened to Georgia?
They were baffled by Alabama's offense. I mean, Jalen Milroe, Donna, he is very difficult to defend because he can run so well. And he can throw the deep ball, and he's becoming a better passer in Kalen DeBoer's system. So he's one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in America. I mean, he's right up there in the conversation, top 2 or 3. He's right up there, maybe the best. So Georgia could not contend with his dual threat capabilities. And then you had Ryan Williams. He's just a difference maker. Down 177 yards on the evening as a wide receiver, 17-year-old freshman. I'm not sure. I mean, whoever slows him down when they play Alabama is going to have a good chance to win, I believe. That's easier said than done.
Now, what do you think about the second quarter with Georgia with such a comeback? They didn't win, but they really came back.
Right. That second half, Donna, they let Carson Beck air it out. Donna, they were 5 for 5 on 4th down, Georgia. Now, that's uncharacteristic of Kirby Smart to attempt a 4th down play, but they were 5 for 5. He had over 400 yards passing against that Alabama defense. We said that Georgia would test Alabama secondary, but we didn't know that they were going to have to resort to throwing the ball quite so much and be so successful. So both teams, Donna, they're supposed to have some good defensive play, but they both ended up with over 500 yards. Georgia, I think, was 519, Alabama 547. So I'm not sure the best defense is not in Lexington, Kentucky. Well, the Kentucky Wildcats, they're a top 10 defense. I like the way they play. They have outstanding front 4. Kentucky does. They can rush the passer and also create havoc in that middle. And when you get that push up the middle, that prevents the quarterback from stepping forward on his release, and that affects his throws. But Alabama and Georgia, we saw the talent on the field. Offensively, they're fast, but Georgia had some players come through on the perimeter for them. But Alabama had that Ryan Williams. It was just too much on that night.
So I didn't know who was going to win. I would never bet because I don't bet anyway. But I would never bet on a ball game. You just don't know what the outcome is going to be.
No, well, I'm sure everybody's mouth was open at halftime, 30-7, because they built it up.
It looked as if Georgia may win. Looked like they were going to take it back, and they were showing people in the Alabama crowd, and there were people out there crying.
Yes.
And I was like, what are they crying for? The game's not over. It ain't over until it's over.
No, right. I don't know the largest comeback at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but that would have been one of the best, I think. I'd have to check that out. I don't recall the biggest comeback, but being behind 28-0, 30-7 to come all the way back, that was phenomenal by Georgia. So I think they can build from this game and say, look, the first half, we were not prepared. We didn't execute. That's either on the coach. That's on the coaches and the players both. But I think the coaches, they'll probably take that loss and say, we didn't prepare you. But the second half, we showed our capabilities. Let's move forward and practice with that intensity that we had in the second half and execute, not in the first half.
Who does Georgia need to fear the rest of the season?
Oh, they have to play at Texas. They have to play at Ole Miss, and they have to host Tennessee. So that's 3 big ball games down right there. Three big ball games for Georgia. I'm just checking one other team. Let's see if that should be it. They host Auburn next week at Athens. That's the oldest rivalry in the South. But I would say Ole Miss on the road, Texas on the road, Tennessee at home. That's Georgia. They could have another loss in there.
Yeah. Now, as far as the two Alabama-Georgia rankings, Alabama right now is the top of the hill, aren't they?
Right, they're number 1. So they, in some polls, they superseded Texas. So Alabama's right up there in the rankings. They'll have plenty of chances to maintain that top spot. And it was a magnificent game by Alabama to jump on top, 30-7 halftime. But we saw some vulnerabilities, I think, in the secondary by both teams, obviously. But this era of football, Donna, these quarterbacks are so good. They've been throwing that ball since they're 10 years old and been in offenses that are complex, and they have these receivers that are so fast, elusive. They could be big and strong and fast, or even if they're not 6'3", they're in the 5'10", 5'9" range, 5'11" range. You can't stay with them. They're too elusive. So you have to press coverage.
You have to think about what ifs. My son was throwing football by the time he's 2 years old, but he decided to get into the ministry. He didn't want to get into playing for football. So you always wonder about little things, like who could have. Now let's talk about Kentucky just one more time. Is Kentucky your idea of the Cinderella team for this year?
Oh, Kentucky's schedule, Donna, they have to play Tennessee. That's always a tough ball game for them. But on their remaining schedule, Vanderbilt is a home game. They could beat Florida in Gainesville. They play Auburn. They could beat them in Lexington. They have Tennessee and Knoxville. Murray State, they should win the game. They have to go to Texas. They can give Texas a bad time. And then they have to play Louisville at home, the last game in Lexington. So, yeah, there's quite a few games that Kentucky, if you play complementary football with that outstanding defense, and Brock Vandagriff, he had support from his receivers on Saturday, Don, because he throws a beautiful football. This is the first time I had a chance to watch Brock in person. I know Brock and his family, but Brock made some terrific throws at pinpoint all game long. He was hitting the receiver. Sometimes the defender knocked the ball away. Sometimes the receiver didn't grab hold of it strongly enough. But he had support for most of the day, and that's why they won the ball game, because his receivers supported him, and the offensive play calling was excellent. They took some chances that were Mark Stoops normally plays it more conservative, but he knew that he had to air it out against Ole Miss if he was going to win on the road.
Absolutely. More to talk about, but let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community
Good afternoon.
College.
We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. This guy right here speaks the truth, and he thinks what he thinks. You got some kind of a crystal ball or something? I mean, but then again, if someone who has been in sports as long as you have, and you're still a child as far as I'm concerned, but anyway, you you really know your stuff when it comes to sports. Now, speaking of knowing your stuff, you have a show that's syndicated right here on Abundance Television, or actually on IC Radio, as AP and Kelly as we see it. So what happened last week on the show?
Yeah, AP and Kelly, as we see it, Donna. And last week we had Buck Bellew, the former Georgia quarterback who led them to a championship, national championship in 1980. We discussed the Georgia-Alabama game. So he said, and it was kind of funny that the way things actually occurred, he said that Georgia needed a quick start. Well, the direct opposite. It was the direct opposite. They were flat as can be in that first half. One of the worst halves in Georgia football under Kirby Smart when he's had these good teams, but they came out in the second half. So we had Buck Bellew. People can listen to that on our, people now can watch our video on AP and Kelly as we see it, the YouTube channel, as well as listen to it on Spotify and right here on IC Radio every Friday, Football Friday, 4 p.m. Central. IC Radio, 4 p.m. Central, AP and Kelly as we see it. Check it out.
We're tickled to death to have you. I'll just tell you that. And
Thank
so
you.
good rankings. People love you here in this area as well. But now you're also making waves in South Carolina.
Okay.
And
yes,
Texas too, by the way.
Okay. South Carolina, speaking of a team that has a chance to really make a point, they're going to be hosting next week Ole Miss, the team that just lost. Ole Miss, 5th ranked team in the country. They're traveling to Columbia, South Carolina. We know that they had played LSU to a tough ball game. They beat Akron the last time out, but they're going to be hosting Ole Miss, and that's a chance for them to beat a ranked team, a highly ranked team at home. Shane Beamer. Let's see if Lenora Sellers, the quarterback, is available. Robbie Ashford, the transfer from Auburn, is a backup. Let's see if they can do some things. Rocket Sanders, the running back. Let's see if they can have a formula to beat Ole Miss. You got to keep that offense on the sideline and do very well defensively on third downs. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you something about Clemson fans and about South Carolina fans. I thought I was married to somebody who is like a very proud Alabama fan. They are the same way. We went on vacation out there. It's like we went to the farmer's market, and it's like almost everybody was saying, "What who do you like better, Clemson or South Carolina?" I mean, it was just like my goodness. And you folks are just like my husband, who's a huge Alabama fan. And I mean, it's unreal. They really love their teams. They do.
Right.
We all do. Same thing for Texas, man.
Yeah. Texas, Donna, Arch Manning played that ball game. He's the redshirt freshman, or maybe he's a true freshman. I'm not sure, because there's that. Or if you didn't play the 4 games, you're still listed as a freshman. You keep your eligibility. But Texas, Donna, this week they have the bye because they'll be getting ready for the Red River rivalry that we played in the old Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. So Texas has a bye this weekend, as does Oklahoma. So they'll be getting ready for that ball game. But Texas is rolling. They're playing good football. They beat Mississippi State by a big score. And Mississippi State, they're trying to revive that program under Jeff Levy, who was an offensive coach at Oklahoma. But Texas is a good football team. They have a host of receivers that it's very difficult to guard. Defensively, they're playing fairly well. You need that complementary football done to be a championship contender, because somewhere along the way, you don't have to shut people down, but you have to stop somebody on occasion to give your offense a chance to score points and, keep points off the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Alabama fans and Auburn fans have had varying thoughts about Texas being in, the same rank that we are, in the same area that we're in. I think they're kind of liking it now. They're getting used to the thought.
Right, yeah. SEC expanded with 2 teams. There's 16 teams in the league now. Texas and Oklahoma are now part of the SEC, and they're both blue blood teams. Blue blood defined as top 10 winners of all time, with the number of wins, not the championships, but the number of wins, Donna. So Oklahoma and Texas, they have Heisman Trophy winners. They have national championships. They have conference championships. They have coaches of the year. They have players of the year. They have Heisman Trophy winners, Maxwell Award winners. all the awards you could think of, Outland Trophy and Lombardi, everything you can think of down there. They have all those award winners as well through the year. So, but that'll be a good ball game in a couple of weeks. We'll discuss it next week in depth. But Oklahoma, we didn't speak about Auburn yet. Auburn moved the football, okay? Like I said, Auburn has been moving the football. But what happened once again? A costly turnover led to a touchdown, pick six, and it was a tight ball game, 27-21. Oklahoma won the ball game. Auburn, they had 482 yards down. 482 yards. In Oklahoma, were nowhere near that amount of yards. I think it was like the high 200s, but they had that one interception, okay? Peyton Thorne threw for 338 yards down. 338 yards, had a good ball game. Jaquez Hunter had 97 yards, nearly 100. But they had that one pick six score going the other way, and that's the difference in the 27-21 loss to Oklahoma. I mean, you just can't have those turnovers when you're playing a tight ball game, and we know that Oklahoma, they were struggling on offense. So you gave them the 6 points. So Auburn once again lost. They're going to be facing Georgia. Georgia's mad. Auburn's mad. This is the oldest rivalry in the South to be over in Athens. So those two teams are trying to rebound from dramatic losses.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of a kicker who was like the hero of the game this past weekend?
Yeah, I saw the kicker from Ole Miss. He was not successful in that 48-yard. I think it was 48 yards at the end to tie the game. I'm trying to think of a kicker in the game.
I didn't say a whole lot of that this past weekend.
Yeah, I think the kickers had a tough weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I think they got a little rest.
Yeah, the kickers they did get some rest, but some of them had a tough weekend. Missing some field goals, crucial.
Okay, about a minute and a half left in this segment. Who is the top five in your opinion?
Yeah, top five. I think Alabama winning at home against Georgia. I think I put them number one. Texas number two. I'd say Ohio State number three. I would say my number four team. I think I'm going to put Tennessee up there, maybe Georgia 5. I think.
That's a huge drop for Georgia.
Yeah.
It's hard to be the king of the hill and then you get knocked down.
Get knocked down, yeah. I'm just giving Tennessee the benefit of the doubt, the way they're playing offensively. You know, they're going to be challenged. They have to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and Arkansas, lost this weekend at Texas A&M in Arlington. Tight ball game, 21-17. I still believe in that Arkansas team, so they've got to come back and play this powerful offense of Tennessee's in Fayetteville. So that'll be a big game for Tennessee. They've already been on the road to Oklahoma and they've won by double digits. But I'm going to put Tennessee up there in the rankings until they lose a ball game. I believe in that quarterback, even though he has a few turnovers here and there, but they have the receivers, complementary receivers, and the defense is better this year.
Absolutely. AP, thank you so much for being with us on the show. It's always a pleasure. We always look forward to it. And so do our viewers. We love it.
Thank you, Donna. My pleasure.
Also Abundant Television. Rob said not to tell you, but the shows that you're on are probably some of the highest viewed ones. So just wanted to tell you, don't tell Rob that I told you, okay?
I won't. Not too loudly. I won't tell him too loudly. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Maybe you won't listen. Okay, but thank you so much for being with us. And thank you guys so much for watching. We definitely appreciate it. You can find us all over the place. All the social media sites there as well. Big viewers there. You can also find us on television and it's syndicated on Rob's TV station. That's Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com and Football Friday at 4 on IC Radio with AP and Kelly as we see it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.